days. And so,
hang on.
so with
Many people in their quest for financial freedom and health freedom. So I'd like a warm round of applause for Nikki, Maly, and Chenault.
Well executed joke. That's a good well, hello everyone. This is Nikki. We're going to share it.
I think there's another one.
Yeah, there's two. There's it's a wire. Why that one right there, Nick or Joe? It's wired.
Okay, cool. Well, we have a really applicable training. So thank you guys for those of you who are joining online and everybody who came in today. It comes, of course, you guys know I love to tell stories. And this actually came from one of my longtime mentors I've had in this industry. He just passed away the beginning of the summer, and so my heart just broke when I watched that journey and heard the news. But I'm so grateful that so many things he taught me for almost 7 years are things that I still use to this day. And so I wanted to share a little training, we'll talk back and forth on this, that he gave me that was so profound. And this was probably 7 years ago. After you get into the industry and maybe you're building a team and you've been in for a while, you can get kind of into this manager type mode. And if I'm honest, at that time, I had gotten to that place. And his name was Kevin Allen, and I remember calling. He was very much like my dad. He didn't mince many words. He just said what he needed to say. He was very upfront, and I just really appreciated that. from him. And I remember sitting in my office one night, and I had looked over the past several months of my commission check, and I realized that it wasn't just status quo. It sometimes had dipped down. And I just thought, that's not what I came here for. I came here for continuing to ramp up and continuing to grow. And so I called him late one night, kind of in my frustration, wondering what's going on. And he said, it was the beginning of the month, and he said, I want you to color your calendar, crayons, markers, whatever. I want you to color your calendar. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And so he said, you're going to do green for meetings, and you'll use the color red for anything that brings you joy, whether that's mentoring your team or doing coaching calls or listening to a call, listening to a podcast, reading a book, any of those things. I want you to color them in with red. And I said, okay. He said, just go and do it for the entire month. And I thought, this is great. This is really great. And so naive, of course, I was quite young. I was, just a few years into being inside of network marketing. And so the month goes by, and he has coached me through the month. And at the end of the month, I called him on the very last day. And he didn't make me just do a little calendar. He made me buy, those giant sticky notes that you can slap up on the wall. And he made me do the whole thing. So there I called him, and he said, walk into your office and you plant your face in front of that calendar. And I stood there looking at it, and he said, tell me how many greens you have. And I said, 6. And he was like, wow, you're amazing. And he said, how many reds do you have? And I was like, 47. I'm such a champion. And he was like, wow, that's why you're not making any money. And I was like, what? And he said, imagine this next month if you have 47 greens and 6 reds. And it dawned on me standing there that I had changed what I was doing inside of my business. And so he said to me, this next month, you're going to do everything you can to swap those colors. And so the advice he gave me on the phone that day, I'll never forget, because it just planted my heart inside the industry. He said, the reds are the things that bring you joy. They're the things that make you wake up in the morning. Coaching calls, helping your team grow, showing up at events, mentoring. Those are the things that bring your heart joy. For me, that's what brings me joy. He said, those are the things that are going to wake you up in the morning. So if you have a rough week, coaching somebody like Autumn is going to bring you joy, right? Those types of things will bring you joy. If your money's not growing, the red keeps you here, right? And I thought, okay, and I just remember that feeling. So recently, I had a coaching call, and this last month, and she called me, and what this gal said, I have done more than I have ever done in my business. And I had her go back and also look at what could have been red or green. And 90% of her calendar was red. And so here's the point. If we're going to be here and we're going to do network marketing, make sure that you focus on income producing activities. That was his training to me. And he said, so here's what's a green? Because I get this question now. The people who have received this training from me, they'll text me and say, I did such and such, what color is it? And so I don't care what color you use. Green is the color of money, which is Kevin said. Green is money, so that's what you color your calendar with. Green is money. So what is green? Green is when a presentation is done to its fullest and you get an answer right then. Not a wait, not a follow-up. You get an answer. Are we moving forward with this? Are you not interested? And that was so relieving to me. So I got to color in all of these greens. I doubled my income the next month when I got to go back to him and say, thank you so much for teaching me that. Thank you for showing me visually that. So for those of you who are sitting here thinking, go through this next month, even though holidays are coming, going to Thanksgiving with 70 of your cousins, which is my family, and mentioning to them that you're in network marketing is not a green, which is what I tried to convince Kevin of. I met a lady at Target today. I told her I was in network marketing. It's not a green. That is not a green. And so it's a very simple way to look at your calendar and be honest with yourself. the simple way to look at your calendar, be honest with the person who is coaching you as well. Because if you come and say, hey, my income isn't increasing or things aren't growing, and somebody who's working with you can say, show me your reds and your greens. You know, I've had people argue with me about what colors to use. Again, I don't care. As long as the one color is, you know that the meeting has been done front and back. You want to add anything to
Well, I
that?
was just gonna say, you schedule those into your business, like you schedule them into your calendar. There's a business presentation on Wednesday nights at X person's house. Okay, then I'm having a one-on-one with this person at this time. You know, those are great. Those are the business presentations. So you can actually write those into your calendar and focus on the income-producing activities. That's how you get your paycheck to grow. So that, I think that's a phenomenal illustration of how we can literally look at ourselves and say, okay, what are we doing in this business? Like what are my activities producing? And here's why my paycheck is growing. Here's why it's not growing, right? So I don't have anything to add to that. I was going to talk a little bit about belief.
Yeah.
But, you know,
One last thing, and then you should take over that topic. A lot of us have families, and we have jobs, and we have extracurricular activities, right? So we have a 7-year-old, and she wants to barrel race, and you know, which requires us traveling, and she's in school, and Joel, you know, is busy during the day, and so life pulls us in different directions, and everybody is that way. And so this training is really profound because it allows you to focus the time in your life, especially if you have those. Right, Adrian? Right? So it's like when you choose to take time away from your spouse and your kids, that you're going there knowing you're going to make an impact on the income in your home. And so when you look at your calendar, at the time, Arian was a brand new baby. She was a brand new baby. And I had hired a nanny, and I sat in my office in tears on this call with Kevin when I realized I had sacrificed an entire month of time to be away from my newborn to make this much impact. I mean, is that worth it? And so it's not just because you focus on income producing activity, it's also so that you maintain the joy in your business. So at the end of the month, you can say, I spent quality time with my family, and the only time I chose to step away was to be doing income producing activities and nothing else. So when Arian knows that I'm leaving for a meeting, she might be sad that I'm going, but she also knows that it's going to help pay for school, or it's her entry fee into a barrel race, right? She knows that I'm going to make an impact on our finances, right? So it's also fun to get your family involved, be excited about your reds and your greens, right?
So I wanted to shift gears a little bit. And does anybody have any questions or anything they want to add to this particular topic? Okay.
Pretty simple.
So does that all make sense to everyone?
Really simple.
Yeah, cool. So simple enough. So take that home, use that with your teams, right?
Don't text me and ask me what colors. Do whatever you want. Take two. Just do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy.
So I wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk about belief. So belief. So I want an example from somebody of something you believe in outside of longevity, outside of Dr. Wallach. What is a belief that you hold? Anything. It could be anything. Doesn't matter. Just throw out an example. Robert Estes. You believe in your wife's love, so you believe that. That's awesome.
Oh,
Robert believes that his wife loves him, right? Okay. How do you know? Oh, beautiful.
It's
He was not a plan.
It was like
He was not a plan. Adrian, that was not a plan, brother.
It was like Robert knew.
Yeah. Robert,
Did you guys talk before this?
we did we talk before this, Robert? We did not. So he nailed it, right? So for everybody online, Robert's answer was, I said, how do you know that your wife loves you? And he said, because of her daily activities. I could end the training right there. That's it, right? That was my point. Because listen, if we truly believe something, faith without works is dead. Paul said it first in the Bible, right? So faith without works is dead. So if we believe something, and I'll just give you an example in my life, right? So James mentioned, thank you, James, for the wonderful introduction. He mentioned that I was a men's physique competitor, and I won a few times. And so there's a big show in Denver, or was it? It was in Denver. It was like one of the biggest in Colorado at the time, and I won that show. And if I look back at what helped me win that, what helped me succeed at that, it was because of my belief. this is just a metaphor for longevity, for anything in life, right? But because of the belief that I had that I was going to win, I actually won. So then I thought about, okay, what made that belief? What supported that belief? What happened because I had that belief? I did the things that were necessary because I believed that, right? So if we believe, and it could be even simple, right? It could be simple like
Chocolate is great,
chocolate is great.
therefore I eat it.
Therefore, you eat the chocolate, right? So if you really hold a belief, your actions will back up that belief. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. So you know, at the time, I mean, I had a buddy who was supportive of me, principal. Get some people in your circle that support you and believe what you believe. He and I together said, we're going to do this together. And then he said, we're going to win. He said, we're going to win this. And I just talked about how I'm going to take first in the show. I told people about it, another principal. I told everyone in my circles that I'm going to go to the show, I'm going to compete, and I'm going to win. And so I had support around me. I also publicly proclaimed what I was going to do, another principal. So, and then what did I do? My activities backed it up. I was in the gym every single day. I followed my diet to a T. I had a coach, another principal, I had a coach guiding me through what I needed to do with my body, with my diet, with my workouts, another principal, right? But I backed up my belief with the activity. And so the same is true for longevity. You know, I mean, if you're ready to hit the next rank in longevity, start telling people about it. Go get somebody to support you and do it with you. Get a coach and a mentor that'll tell you what to do, right? And then support that belief with the immersion. I was watching videos every single day on bodybuilding. I was immersing myself on nutrition and fitness and everything. Like every single moment of my day was that. Perfect. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. So I'm gonna give the next speaker a little bit more time here, but that's the point, right? Immerse yourself with that belief. And so Robert Estes said it perfect. How does he know? He holds a belief that his wife loves him. He believes in her love. And how does he know? Because of her activities. And so that's just what I want to leave you guys with. Faith without works is dead. So if you truly believe that longevity is it, longevity is the ladder for you to climb. Once you scale this ladder, it's going to produce time freedom, wealth freedom, and health freedom. If you truly, truly, truly believe that, your activities will back that. So invest in your belief. That's my message. Invest in your belief. Get people alongside you who believe what you believe. Immerse yourself in the whole practice of longevity and network marketing of this message. And the results will follow because you believe that, right?
Perfect. And pick your 2 favorite colors.
Yeah.
The end.
Thank you, guys.
Well, it was remarkable. If you hold a belief, your actions will support that belief.
Right.
Mic drop. So our next speaker is a wonderful man. He is the co-founder, CEO of Contact Mapping, contactmapping.com for those of you online. He was 7 years in Rackspace and was the senior international finance director over Rackspace. Remarkable. And he lived in the US, UK, Australia, Switzerland. But recently his endeavors are through contact mapping, and his father, Tom Chenault, has used contact mapping all his life to build a successful empire. And Adrian has figured out a way to infuse technology into contact mapping and make it available for anybody, everybody in any business to increase their relationships and build their business. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Adrian Chenault.
This guy's doing everything today. How cool is that? You should see him.
I'm relaxing.
Yeah, Marianne's asleep up here. There's an interesting juxtaposition for those of you on the live stream. So thank you guys for watching on live stream. It's great to have you watching along and following along with us. And thanks everybody for being here. I'm just going to start off by saying my name is Adrian Chenault, and I am not a men's physique competitor. I loved your guys' training and what you had to say. Joel and I were texting a little bit this morning about what they were planning to talk about. And these income producing activities are so, so important, right? We've got to give ourselves and our teams a track to run on to be successful in this business, right? Because we come in, we have this burst of belief, we get inspired by a Joel or a Nikki or a Dr. Claire or a Dr. Ike or a Denise or a Callie, and we see people that we go, wow, I want to be like them. I want to be a part of what they're doing. And we get all fired up and we kind of don't know what to do. And the easiest thing to do is to go and watch trainings. The easiest thing to do is to go and spend a lot of time in the learning mode and not enough time in action mode. And so I just want to reinforce what they said, that for each one of us, that our check grows based on the income producing activities and action that we take in our business. And so we've got to do that. And maybe even more importantly, because I think we all kind of know that ourselves, but we have to really reinforce that with people as they join the business, because it's really, they're looking to us for guidance of what to do. And if we don't show them and help them reinforce that that's the path for them to get a check so that they can keep doing this, that belief is going to just wane and wane and wane and wane and wane and wane. And then it's just not going to work for them anymore because they didn't make enough money to make it work and everybody's going to be sad. So don't do that. True. So sad. So I think this actually really ties in well, because one of the things that I find in 65 Days in a Wake Up, that I find as we train contact mapping in other companies and we teach these principles, is I think people really get kind of stuck in this kind of perpetual relationship building, this perpetual rapport building. And they so the first thing to overcome is they're like, I don't know how to talk to anybody. And so you kind of have to go do the coffee shop interview and just go put this weirdo network marketing cap that somehow you found that you don't need, go put that over there and just go be a real human being and talk to somebody like your friend. Because you know how to be a friend. You did it for 30, 40, 50 years, and it's like, oh, I'm a network marketer now. Now I just have to be really weird. And here's some samples, and here's a pimp. Don't just so part one is we have to teach people how not to do that and to go and have a real conversation. But then I think the second hill that people have to take is now they get comfortable and they go, oh great, well being in network marketing is just like being a normal friend to people. And so we're just gonna talk, we're gonna talk. And I'm sure that the opportunity is gonna present itself and they're gonna ask me about my business and then I'm gonna pull out the same, So we just think we think that somehow we're just gonna keep building and building and building relationships. And I think we put ourselves into that trap. That's the second trap. And so what I want to talk to you today is about how to get really powerful inside of your conversations and how to not get confused that the coffee shop interview is not about how to go and have a normal friendly conversation that's just the sort of same old chit chat kind of stuff that we do with our friends inside of our business. The coffee shop interview, the key to it is those questions that are exactly the opposite of that. Those questions that are probably the ones that you go, I'm not going to ask that one. I'm a little scared to ask that one. But those are the questions that are going to open people up. And so coming into this conversation, you have to have that attitude of I'm here to help. I desire to help. I authentically want to help you get where you want to go. But you also, I think one of the other things is you have to believe I've got the answer. You have to come in with that sort of attitude and posture. And one of the things that you see with my dad, if you're on 65 Days in a Wake Up trainings on Tuesday evenings, or if you've been on three-way calls with him, he in a very short period of time, he is to the heart of the matter, and people are crying and telling him crazy stuff that they probably shouldn't be telling him. But he gets people to that place. And I really watch the way that he does that. And it is not a chit-chat approach. It's a kind approach. It's an authentic approach. It's an approach that desires to serve. But we are going somewhere in this conversation. And the place that we're going is figuring out what the heck is going on in your life where you need help, and then figuring out how I can help. And in order to do that, you can't beat around the bush forever because people are going to get bored. And they're actually going to get, especially if you don't know them that well, you're actually going to inspire skepticism about you because they can't figure out what you're up to when you just keep taking them in circles. And so there's some trainers out there that are like completely to the point, and they're like, especially on Facebook, right? They're like, go message something on Facebook and say, hey, I'm new to the area, I'm building something out. Would you be interested in taking a look at what I'm doing if it doesn't interfere with what you're up to? And that's fine. I have no problem with that. I have no knock against that. But I think the kernel of truth behind it that I would apply to what we do, which I think is a little kinder and a little more attractive and a little less throwing spaghetti at the wall, is that you owe it to people to be transparent in your intentions in that conversation. And so your intention in that conversation is first and foremost to serve them. And if that's true, then you're not being inauthentic you're not pretending to be that way, you are being that way. But your intention is also to get them somewhere that's going to serve them and to figure out if it's going to serve you. And you don't have to be ashamed about that. You don't have to be scared of the fact that you're a network marketer. You can be upfront about that. Denise did this great three-way call with me the other day. And she did. It was great. And she, I think sometimes you can go, don't say it's network marketing. Don't do that. But Denise had total posture and just said that, what we're up to is network marketing. And what I have found and what I've been able to do with hundreds of women over the years and thousands of women over the years is show you how to get a little bit more out of your life. And Adrian's going to talk to you after I could jump off this call, and he can tell you a little bit more about that if that's something that you want, and if that's not, that's okay. And it was totally appropriate. It was totally serving, and it fit inside the context of that conversation, but we got to the point. It wasn't like, this wishy-washy ending and we don't know where we're going and I don't know how to follow up. There was a point on the end of that conversation where it's time for her to make a decision or not make a decision. And that decision doesn't necessarily have to be, I'm going to become a CEO today, but are we going to have, this is what we're doing here. Are we going to progress that conversation so you're going to make a decision? Or is this not for you? And either one of those is okay. And I hung up the phone, so Denise got off, it was great. Denise got off, because she got a little bit squirrely at the end of the conversation, and it was like, okay, what's kind of going on there? So Denise hangs up, and I said, hey, we're friends, we've been friends a long time. I promise you can't possibly hurt your feelings. Is this a not no but hell no situation? Because that's okay. I am not attached. This is for you. And so if it's for you, great. And if it's not for you, great. Just let me know. And I actually thought she was going to say, yeah, not no, but hell no. I've done a number of marketing before, I hate it. And that's not what she said. What she said was, I am really, if I believe in something, I am great at marketing it. And if I don't believe in it, I am so allergic to faking it that it will never work. And that's not who I am. And I said, I love that about you. That's who we are too. And so now the conversation is, okay, well then let's figure out if there's something here that is that thing that is going to go, yeah, heck yeah, I can tell people about that all day long. And she gave me this example, I guess, that I don't know what, there's some direct, kind of party plan company. She has a daughter, and she had, there was clothes that they do kids' clothes, and she put together a party, and she's like, it was so easy because I love what they're doing. I don't, it'd be nice if I make a little bit of money, but I did it because I believe in it. And so you're going to find out what people really think, what they believe in, and you're going to drop them off there. But you've got to get to the point, and you've got to ask questions. And so I actually want to back up in that conversation just a little bit, because I think this is an example of this. And it was online too, which you can do this online, you can do it offline. Dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry, I know you only want to do it offline, but I did this online. This whole conversation was via Facebook Messenger. And we had a conversation 3 months ago or so, and I could feel that there were a few cracks in the armor, but she wasn't really ready to do something yet in her own life. She's a single mom, has been a single mom since the day her daughter was born. She's 7 now. And she's working too hard. She's not making enough money. She just kind of has those things. But I could feel we hadn't kind of gotten there yet. So I followed her up in 2 months, and I asked how things were going. And it was kind of the same story, but you could sense that there was more frustration with her situation there. And so we talked through that for a little bit. And then I used a question that I think you can use some form of this question that I think sets that stage to go, let's stop beating around the bush and let's get real. And so the way I put it to her is I said, hey, do I have permission to just be like really straight with you? And very rarely is somebody gonna say, no, like, don't be straight with me. don't give it to me honestly. So then I just said, look, it sounds like you've got some stuff going on that you're trying to figure out what to do. I don't know what the right answer is for you, but incidentally, my dad and stepmom have been in the business of helping people create a little bit of extra income on the side for many, many years, and they've helped thousands of people do that. And I just think she'd be a great resource for you, whether it leads anything or not. I just think she'd be a great resource for you. Would you be open to having a conversation? But I signaled that I was going to shift the conversation to somewhere real. And I think that's something that makes it easier to do, right? Because I think we're always feeling like, oh, I've got to wait for just that perfect moment. And every once in a while, like, something really dramatic happens, and like, you don't have to ask that question because obviously that's what's called for in the situation. But a lot of times it's not. A lot of times it's like, hey, can I be really straight with you? Yes. We've been talking for a while now, and you just keep talking about how you're sick all the time because you're just working too hard. You keep talking about how frustrating it is that you're not able to spend enough time at home, and your girlfriend or your wife, is mad at you all the time because you're just working so hard and not spending time with the kid. Like, what you replay the sob story that they keep telling you over and over again. And you go, I've been thinking about that, and I think there's something that it might make sense for you to take a look at. Could I send you a video? I think there's somebody I know who's been in that place that you are right now, and I think that it'd be worth a conversation. Would you be open to talk to them? And so you're using the coffee shop interview to get real and to get to that place where they've told you something that isn't working for them. And then you're asking for their permission to be real with them and to call out exactly what they already know and that you already know, but that we just should let's pull the elephant out of the refrigerator and let's have this conversation. And then you're going, you keep telling me this. I think I might have an idea for you. Would you be interested in checking out said idea? So I didn't shift into, here's my advice. I didn't shift into, now I'm just going to unload on you. I shifted from replay what you've been sharing about the things that are not working. I think I have an idea. I think I have a this. I think I have a that. And then an invitation. Would you be open to taking it? And that's so easy, right? We all can do that. Like that's not hard. That doesn't require a master's degree in psychology or a class on the exact right words to choose. Like that's a pretty normal thing that we all can say. And because you got double permission, right? You got permission to even make the observation, and then you're asking again for permission to take that conversation somewhere. And so if you've gotten permission in both of those places, then there's very low probability that you're going to damage that relationship because they said yes or no every step of the way. And then if they, again, at the end of that say, no, this isn't for me, you go, great. I thought it might help. I didn't know if it would help. And, bless them on their way, and you're still friends. And who knows, you don't stop following up with them periodically because it may be timing, it may be fear, it may be whatever, and their pain and dissatisfaction with whatever situation they're in just might not be great enough yet that they're ready to do something different. But if they don't change, nothing's going to change, and so that pain may keep increasing. Their spouse might get more But I want you to use that coffee shop interview to drive to that place where you've got a green on your calendar, right? Where you're not just endlessly going in circles. You're getting real enough in conversation to figure out if there is a place where you can make that first invitation because they've shared with you an area where you can be real and where you might be able to help. And that if they don't, if things are going really well, or if what's not going well for them is not really something that longevity might be the answer to, whether that's the products or the opportunity, but maybe there's somewhere else, then find a way to help them there. And don't be an idiot. Don't I don't know how to say it. Don't be that person that has a hammer in their pocket and thus everything looks like a nail when you're just walking around. Like, just don't do that. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be that person. And that doesn't serve them, and thus it doesn't serve you. But if you go and you have real conversations that cut to the heart of the matter, and you learn how to use the questions there to recognize it, you're going to get a powerful, powerful result. Now, here's one more really important piece of this that is important in the now of that conversation, because even to the extent that the conversation moves really fast, you may find that this proves to be essential. But I'll tell you, however important it is when the conversation moves fast, when you have these situations where somebody is maybe not ready right now, and it's because the timing's not right, this is where you are going to either create for yourself a gold mine you cannot imagine, or you are going to waste an opportunity and regret it later, whether you realize it or not. And that is that inside of that conversation, when you get real with people, they're going to tell you that they're going to share with you things that are the most important things to them, that motivate them and move them. And they're going to share with you in specific terms the things that are not working for them in life. And if you don't remember those things specifically, if you only remember the kind of conceptual version of that idea, it is half as powerful at best. So let me give you an example. There is somebody who is a friend of Jimmy Schuster's who came to our office a little while ago. And it was the craziest thing. I don't know how this even came up, but somehow in the conversation, we're having a conversation about dreams. And basically she shares that as a little girl, that all she really wanted was, she had seen in a shop window or something, this red coat. It was like a red overcoat that she just was obsessed with. And she had told her mom, and her mom had forgotten or hadn't paid attention or whatever. And then like a year later, her mom bought a red coat almost just like that for her sister and didn't buy one for her. And I mean, surely the mom had no idea, or she would never have done it. So the mom wasn't contacting that person. Shame on that. But so this red coat, she is in her 60s or 70s, and she still is dreaming of having a red coat. And God knows why, she has never bought herself a red coat. Like, the craziest thing in the world. And so, you could have remembered in your head, repressed childhood or trauma. You could have remembered something like that. But the red coat is the only thing that matters in that whole freaking story. Because someday, you could go back to her and go, you need that red coat. And you need the Burberry red coat that's $2,000, that's crazy for you to buy for yourself. Unless, what if you could create $2,000 of income in a month on the side? You have tapped into her heart in a way that you can't believe. In the same way of these conversations that you have where somebody shares with you, there's a story that crystallizes the pain that happened in their life that is what's going to motivate them to. Okay, 5 minutes. I'll do you better than that, James. So there is, maybe it's that they got caught at work with their boss and their boss just wouldn't shut up, and they missed the beginning of their kid's play at school, and the kid didn't see mom or dad in the audience and thought they weren't even there at all. And you walk up afterwards and the kid just gives you this look like, why weren't you there? Like, those are the things, that story, it's not you're working too hard. It's that story that matters. And if you don't remember that stuff, you are missing an ability to motivate and really to serve people, because if those are the things, those are the stories that crystallize it and get them into action. And so this is the shameless contact mapping plug part of my presentation. But you have to have a place to record that, you guys. Because if you don't, you're not going to build connections with people that really move them for the rest of their lives. That really have, you look at some of the leaders in longevity and the impact that they have on people's lives, and the following that people go, I would do anything that Tom Chenault asked me to do. I would do anything that Juliet Vardalos asked me to, because I know that they know where they have shown me the way of how this can be done, and they care about me. And if only part one is true and part two is not there, it's just not going to be the same thing. And when it gets tough, they're going to go, oh yeah, well, I guess that was great for Juliet, but it's not for me. But if they know you care, it's a different thing. And I promise you that if you are recording these things, if you're documenting what people share with you, then you, by definition, will be able to remember it, and you will have a different impact on people's lives. And I promise you that if you don't have a system to do that, that you're not, because we're human beings, and we just can't keep all this stuff in our memory without requiring somebody to help us. So use the tools to get you to the place where you're not beating around the bush, where you're taking people where they want to go, and you're getting to the heart of the matter in conversation. People will appreciate that fact that you're not wasting their time going in circles, that you're instead getting to the heart of who they are and then finding a way to serve. And if you can do that, you're going to have a calendar full of green, and you're going to be a happy person. Thank you.